Welcome back, learners, adventurers, creatives, rationalists. Why do you even want to learn Spanish? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you learn anything? AI is coming to take it all anyway, so why would you do it? You're putting it out there. That's the question you need to ask yourself. Because people ask me that. Before I went to China, everyone was like, why do you want to learn Chinese? To what benefit? It's extremely difficult. What's the point? Well, there is so much more to learning a language than the language in and of itself. There is nothing that's going to teach you more about culture than language. I don't give a fuck what history book you know. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about fucking Chinese culture until you learn the language. Learn the language. If you learn the language, you just know it. You understand the perspective that they come from, and you understand where the roots of their ideas might come from. And then not only that is that you're actually able to engage in the cultural activities that they actually take part in. You can be an outsider from the third person perspective and create your own worldview and that what that might look like, and then you repeat what you're observing and you think that you know something about culture, but you don't actually know shit because you weren't part of it. So so why are you learning a language? AI can take your shit. The reason why is because you're not just learning the language. You're learning more about your surroundings, and you're actually understanding. You're understanding the world that you live in. On top of that, on top of that, it is the most practical. It's skill because once you learn it, you can apply it instantaneously. Not quite instantaneously, but it's very applicable to real life, is what I'm trying to say. When you learn fucking. When you learn how to. I don't know, what do you learn in school? What are people learning in school nowadays? I don't know. When you learn a language, you can instantly use that and you can apply it to real life, and it has relevant and significant beneficial impact on your life. People will notice. People will. It's not even about that. These are the extrinsic motivations that I'm going to talk about. People will notice. People will respect you for it. These sorts of things. But that's obviously not the reason why you do it, and you can't use extrinsic motivation to motivate you through something as hard as language learning. You need to understand the true benefits, which is what I was discussing before, which is the cultural insights, also the applicability of it, and how much your life is going to change. You're going to be involved. You're not going to be you're not going to be using your you're not going to be creating an inaccurate representation of what's going on from the outside perspective. And you're not going to fantasize what it might be. And you're also not going to misinterpret what being involved in, like, between other nationalities and stuff mean in terms of their cultural practices. You're not going to misinterpret them. Once you're a part of them, you get a greater understanding. Just like anything, it's opening up your fucking mind. That's why you do it, and because of that, it makes your life 10 times more fun. So much more fun. Yes, this is a long-term goal, and that helps us and benefits us in the long term. But it also is extremely fun in the short term. If you guys like to get drunk, like I do, then there is nothing more fun than getting drunk with a bunch of Chinese people and playing games or going out and doing shit. So this is the same thing that I'm going to apply. So why am I learning Spanish? Partially so I can understand the world better around me, but also and also I can't even believe I didn't mention this, but the relationships that you gain from it is your capability to make relationships when they because they respect the fact that you've tried to cross over a boundary in order to connect with these people. You know, if they don't speak English, for example, and you've made an effort, so it makes you an interesting person because you're a foreigner, and it sets the foot off right in terms of developing friendships, because because they know that you're coming from a because you need a degree of humility in order to learn a language, so they know that you're coming from a place of good in some sense, you know. So it sets the footing off right for the relationship. It's like, oh, look at this guy. He's trying to learn our language. He's a nice guy. You know, he's a respectable individual. What's he got to say for himself? And then you say some bullshit and you say it incorrectly and then you say cheers and then you dance to Latin American music. And then bam, you have friends. Boom. How to get lit. So anyway, let's get into the details. I changed my plan slightly in terms of learning Spanish. I should be up to a higher amount, but I'm going to be completely honest because I'm an honest person. I'm up to story 12. Now, I said in the last video that I was going to go through all of the stories and I'm going to rewrite them from the next perspective. Now, although I'm constantly making changes, because I remember the last video I said I was making changes. Now, although that was an extremely intelligent decision, idea, the problem with that is that it's really boring. Once again, it's really fucking boring. I'm not going to write through every single one that I've already done. That's annoying and it's tedious and it feels like I'm not progressing because then I stay on, I would have stayed on story 11 in terms of my exposure progression for exposing myself to new words for an extra 11 days. No, I'm not waiting that long. I'm an impatient person. I don't care. So what I've done is that from now onwards is that I'm going to be writing from both perspectives, from the part A and the part B, which is the first and the third person perspective, which is what I've done, which is what I just did then, which was story 12. And it's extremely important to do this, honestly. Like, now that I've done it, I do understand that in Spanish particularly, the verb conjunctions change, like, and yeah, like some of the words and the masculine and feminine stuff. I'm not very good at explaining this stuff, but the little suffixes and stuff like that, they change depending which perspective that you're coming from. You know, when you say I want something or she wants something, things change within the sentence. So yeah, long video. It's 8 minutes now, so I better go. All right.